Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Self-Care Sunday. My name is Molly. I'm a librarian at Victory Branch Library, and you know the drill. We talk about all things self-care, which includes mindfulness, meditation. We also do a little bit of crafting and baking. I think it's important now to focus on the techniques that are going to make us feel mindful. Right now, it is, there's a lot of different things happening in our country and in the world. It's a really overwhelming time. There's a lot of information and yet a lot of unknowns. There's also some really disturbing images that we're seeing on the TV. So I think it's really important right now. I guess there's no really easy way to say this. With everything shutting down in the beginning of this pandemic, because that is what it is, I think it was really important to focus on self-care, and it still is. But everything that's happening in our country, coupled with the pandemic, I think it's also really important to note that sometimes it's okay to not feel okay. Again, I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm not a mental health expert or professional, but I do a lot of research, and a lot of counselors and therapists are saying at this time that there's almost a collective grief in our country for a lot of different normals for life. There's also a grief that we're noticing with racial injustice. It doesn't feel authentic to say, here's how you're going to get through it. We are going to get through everything. But I also think it's okay to sit and be sad. I think that's a really big thing that lots of grief counselors, lots of mental health care experts can say that it's okay to be sad, and sometimes you just have to be with it. So I guess this is definitely a different self-care Sunday in that I'm saying, while it's really good and well to practice self-care and to redirect thoughts, to stay in the moment, to turn off the chatter in your head, it's also okay to feel incredibly sad and to grieve a lot of different things. Now, that being said, you can also, when it feels like the sadness is too much, you can also take time to have tools that guide you into mindfulness. Because I don't know about you, but I've needed a lot of extra help meditating. I've needed a lot of extra help taking time to be guided into being mindful. So today we are actually going to focus on mindfulness and meditation apps. Now, I have to give a huge shout out to a fellow colleague named Lauren, and she works at our Hidden Springs branch. She compiled an amazing list all on self-care and mindfulness resources, and I'll be highlighting a few that she found today. So Lauren, if you're watching, thank you so much. You've compiled a great list. So, mindfulness apps, super helpful way to frame and train in integrating mindfulness into your everyday life. And there's tons of apps out there. The Wall Street Journal reports that there are more than 2,000 new meditation apps that have been launched between 2015 and 2018. So I am actually looking at an article that Lauren cited in her self-care guide. It's from mindful.org, which is a mindfulness nonprofit. And this is an article that I'll link below called Free Mindfulness Apps Worthy of Your Attention. The first one is Insight Timer. Now, I've heard a lot about this app, but I've never actually had a chance to explore it. It looks like it's almost like a Facebook, but for meditators, people who are meditating. So there's a huge library of content. It looks like 25,000 guided meditations. And it's really a community. You can meditate with people at the same time. You can also set your location and see who's meditating nearby. There's also free talks and podcasts. This sounds like an awesome app. So the thing with a lot of these meditation apps is that there's a free entry price, which is usually like a 7-week trial, and then they do ask you to pay a yearly or monthly subscription. So that's just something to keep in mind, that although some of these are free to begin with, they don't stay free. So the next app I'm going to talk about is called Smiling Mind, and it is a free entry app, and it looks like there's hundreds of meditations. There's Mindful Foundation, so if you're kind of new to meditation, Mindful Foundation is a nice starting point. There's also sleep sessions, sessions on relationships, and the workplace. So this looks super awesome. And it looks like they also are encouraging people, instead of just, maybe doing it a little bit each day. It looks like Smiling Mind also really wants you to take mindfulness off of your couch and into the world, into the other 23 hours of your day. So there's activities that almost look like mini courses on listening, finding your inner master. It looks really, really interesting. So for example, Are You Really Listening? That course actually focuses on what people are saying, on people's speech, which is how you, and kind of meditating on what people are saying and bringing your intention to what they're saying, even though your mind may want to wander. So that's kind of cool that it actually translates meditation into real life. I like that. So the next one is Stop, Breathe, and Think. And this looks like there's a little more explanation behind why meditation is good for you in this app. So each day, when you open the app, it asks you, how are you? And you are invited to check in with yourself. And then based on how you feel, they'll recommend meditations for you. That's super cool. I really like that. This next app that I really think I may need to check out is called the UCLA Mindful App. And it looks like, again, UCLA is a huge research center, and it's funded by, this particular app is funded by the Mindful Awareness Research Center at UCLA. And it looks like there's such amazing research that is going directly into this app. Really, really cool. They have meditations in both English and Spanish. They have breath work sessions, meditations focusing on your body or on sounds, how to work with difficult emotions. This is a super cool app. Really, really interesting. Something to note that it was released last spring and there's still some kinks with the app. That's what users report, so keep that in mind. 10% Happier is another super popular meditation app. This is a app by Dan Harris, who's a news anchor, and apparently he actually had a panic attack on live TV, so he decided to pursue meditation. So it sounds like this is a really, really cool app. Again, it's a little spendy. It looks like there's a 7-day free entry price, but it's about $100 a year to get the access to the 350 guided meditations. And I feel like this is a no-nonsense, relatable app that's really focused to people who are fidgety or skeptic. I think he really markets it to people who are like, oh, does meditation really work? So I think that's probably why it's so insanely popular. I've definitely heard about the app. He also has a book called 10% Happier and a podcast. So I would say if you're on a budget like myself, that the podcast might be a great option because it's free, it exists outside of the app, and there's conversations with lots of individuals all on mindfulness, what it means to them, and how to implement that in your daily life. I also really want to plug Headspace. Headspace is an app that I use often. It was started by Andy Pettycombe, who is a former Buddhist monk, and I just love it. I really really love it. I really feel like it's catered to people who again are skeptical of meditation, but it's explained in a way that is very empathetic and very engaging. And I just find that doing the courses on anxiety, doing the basic foundation courses, I also do like a break meditation when I'm in the building, when I'm at work, where you just take a break and restore. And those range from anywhere from 1 to 10 minutes. And I've just found such an amazing kind of shift in my overall tone, my overall, like, just like the way I react to certain situations, I feel is better. And I also really love that Headspace has incorporated exercise element meditations. What should I say? They're movement based meditations. So they have stretching courses, they have running courses, lots of fun stuff. Just I feel like I cannot live without it. I really love Headspace. It's I highly recommend it. This next app is actually not a mindfulness or meditation app. It's actually a running app by Nike. Nike Run Club has been such a game changer, you guys. I really did not, sometimes still do not love running, but I figured when the whole country shut down, my gym shut down, it was really time to get outside. And even if I could only run for like 5 minutes, it was something. The thing that I love about the Nike Run app is that there are elements of meditation within the runs, and the global head coaches of Nike are super encouraging. They're super positive, and they really frame running as an exercise of mindfulness. Lots of different running levels, running plans, and actually the creator of Headspace, Andy Pettycombe, this is not sponsored, by the way. I know, although you should sponsor me, just kidding. The Headspace creator actually does some running meditations with the Nike global head coach, Chris Bennett. And it's just wonderful. It's just super inspiring, super positive, and I always feel super appreciative after and grateful for my body, for the time that I put in running, the time that I set aside to take care of myself. And yeah, I just think it's a great way to be active, but really mindful. I think mindfulness is at the core of the Nike Run Club app. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little meandering app talk on all things mindfulness and meditation apps. Because again, sometimes you really need someone to frame it and guide you through it. And at least in my experience lately, that's what I've needed. Are you using any mindfulness or meditation apps? What has been your favorite? Please leave your answer in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. If anybody's out there, I hope you're doing great. I hope you had a great week, and I hope you have an even better one. Make sure you take some time for yourself today, and I'll see you next time here for another Self-Care Sunday. Bye!